Hey y'all, we are doing the last part of the preterite notes, which is the preterite stem changers. And so at any point, please make sure you pause the video. I'm going to try to make it as short as possible, but pause it if you need to copy something down or if I go too fast. So stem changers. What are stem changers? Remember we learned in the present tense that stem changing verbs are verbs that conjugate at the end. They still have a change on the ending, but they also change in the front part of the word or the stem. My Spanish 2 students get tripped up on this because they assume that if a verb was a stem changer in the present tense, then it's going to be a stem changer in the preterite, and that's not true. For example, the verb dormir, it means to sleep. It changed O to UE, and so it was yo duermo, is I sleep. But in the preterite or the past tense, dormir is a completely regular verb. Yo dormí. It doesn't change in the stem. So I want you to take what you know about stem changing verbs in the present tense, take it out of your big, beautiful brain and put it on the shelf there. Don't throw it away. Just put it on the shelf, because what you're going to learn about stem changers in the preterite tense is going to be just a little bit different. Number one, there's no boot verbs in the preterite. So for the preterite, the stem changers are going to change in all the forms. You're not leaving nosotros out. And then also, like I said, some verbs are going to be stem changers that weren't stem changers in the present tense, okay? So in the Spanish language, there are a lot of stem changers. I want to say, it's been a long time, but I want to say it's 15 or so stem changers. I'm only giving you 6 to learn right now. If you decide you want to take Spanish 3 or Spanish 4, or if you have to take Spanish in college, you may have to learn all of them. I'm only going to start you out with 6 for now. Okay, so here they are right here. And this would be a good time to pause it and copy them down so you're not having to listen to me talk while you copy it. So the first one is decir. Let's see if I can get a little pointer going here. Okay, so we have decir. It means to say or to tell. And in the stem, it's going to change to D-I-J. So the D-E-C is going to change to D-I-J. Why is there a blank behind it? Because you still have to put an ending on the end of that. So, for example, if I say, what did you say? I'm going to say, ¿qué dijiste? And I'm going to put an ending on the end of that stem. Okay? The second one is hacer. It means to do or to make. And the stem is is. So, yo hice la tarea. I did the homework. The third one is tener. It means to have, and it changes to tuve. So if I say, did you have a good time? I would say, tuviste un buen tiempo. Estar is to be. Remember, estar is the one that you use with location and feelings. So if I want to say, were you in class yesterday? I would say, estuviste en clase ayer? So it's estuve in the stem. Then we have andar, and it means to walk. It's the same meaning as caminar. But caminar and andar, you can use interchangeably, whichever one you feel like using. However, andar is a stem changer. Caminar is not. It changes to anduve. Okay? And lastly, saber, it means to know, as in to know information. Like, I know 2 + 2 is 4. I know that Walmart is on range, etc. Okay? So it changes to soup. So if I say, did you know John? I would say, supiste a Juan? Okay, so that's our 6 that we're learning. Again, you can pause it if you need more time to copy. Now, the part that kind of stinks about the stem changers is that they have their own special set of endings. So you will have a total of 3 sets of endings that you'll have to learn for the preterite. You have your AR endings, your ER-IR endings, and then your stem changer endings. Again, please pause it if you need time to copy these. I want you to notice that there are no accents on these. I also want you to notice that they're a combination of the AR, ER, IR endings. So let's see if I can get this to draw. See if I can draw on here real quick because I need to draw a picture. That's not what I want to do. Scribble, please. Oh, there we go. Okay, so notice that the E here, the and the O, I have to select it every time, I guess. It's a really ugly circle, sorry. That these two are the same as your AR endings minus the accents. Because remember the AR endings are aste, o, amos, aron. So these two are the same as your AR endings. And then the other three are the same as the ER-IR endings. So remember, ER-IR endings are iste, io, imos, ieron. So if we put, there we go. It just keeps disappearing on me. So these three match your ER-IR endings. Move this out of the way. Okay, so you really don't have to memorize a new set of endings if you'll just remember that these two are the same as your AR endings and these three are the same as your ER-IR endings. Just take away the accents. Okay, now this is really dumb, but I'm going to give you a super dumb way to remember it. And I don't know if it's just because I'm hungry or what, but to me, this little picture I just drew here reminds me of a crawfish head. So all you have to do is add in some little, this is not very user-friendly, and it's not very pretty, but some little antennas in the front for the crawfish. And then this is silly, but just bear with me, please. I'm going to try to do this in one. It's not going to let me if I pick it up, I have to select each time. So I'm just going to do like this. Okay, there's a crawfish tail. And I wish I could just draw it on here normally. But okay, here's the claw. I told you this was silly. Running out of room. Okay, that one's got a little dwarf claw on that side. Okay, so anyway, super ugly, but just picture a crawfish. Okay, so the point of it is to remember that these three go with ER-IR. These are eyeballs, by the way. They're huge eyeballs on this crawfish, but the eyeballs go to the AR ending. So if you're trying to remember what are those stem changer endings, just think of the crawfish head. And I actually do want you to draw the crawfish. Please do a better job than I did, but draw that crawfish on your notes as well. I want them to go over your stem changer endings. If you want to give them a name, you can give them a name. Somebody named theirs Bob in class. Okay, super silly. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. So pause it so you can draw your crawfish. All right, I'm going to go to the next slide. I just realized this is going to stay on my slideshow. I'm going to delete it. Okay. Okay, but you guys are drawing. All right, so I'm going to show you what it all looks like together. And so when you conjugate a stem changer, you have the stem part, tuv. This is an example of tener. And then you have the stem changer ending here, iste, o, imos, ieron. Okay, so get this going. Okay, so we have tuve is I had. Tú tuviste is you had. Ella tuvo, she had. Nosotros tuvimos, we had. And ellos tuvieron, they had. Okay, so pause it if you need more time to copy that. So that's what stem changers look like when they're conjugated. Now, if that were the end, that wouldn't be so bad, but there are two stem changers on your notes that are super extra. They're not happy just being stem changers. They have to be irregular a second way. They're irregular irregulars, and I call them, if this thing would click, I call them lowriders. So they are going to do something weird on the bottom row, on the bottom two squares on the T chart. So that's why they're called lowriders. So here they are. I'll give you a second to look at them. The first one, decir. So remember, decir changes in the stem to dij, dij. And when it conjugates, it's dije, dijiste, dijo, dijimos, and then dijeron, dijeron. So what is weird about that red one there? So if you look at it, it's supposed to have an I here. You can compare it to, I eat this bar. I don't know how to move the bar, but it's supposed to have an I there. So I do want you to write this down. Sorry, my computer's really slow. So it's supposed to have a little I here, dijeron, but for some reason it loses an I. So I have nicknamed this verb the pirate verb. So actually, let's do this. So I want you to write it on your paper, the pirate verb, because it loses an I like a pirate. And then draw you a little pirate on there. Google Slides is not very friendly to me. And then once I pick up this is going to be terrible because I can't pick it. Okay, that's supposed to be a pirate with an eye patch. That did not come out. Good, it didn't keep. Good. Okay, anyway, draw you a little pirate right there. This is a pirate verb because it loses an I. Arg. I guess I could insert clip art, but you get the idea. Okay, the second verb is hacer, means to do or to make, and it changes to is. So hice, hiciste, hizo, hicimos, hicieron. Now, do you have any guesses of why it puts a Z on there? It's because if it was a regular verb and it was H-I-C-O, then it would be pronounced hico. Anytime a C is followed by an O in Spanish, it has a K sound. And so when you said it, it would be hice, hiciste, hico, etc. And that's just yucky. So in Spanish, it likes to be consistent in how it sounds. So whoever invented all these irregularities decided putting a Z was the best way to make it consistent sounding. So when you're speaking it, you can't even tell it's irregular. Hice, hiciste, hizo, because the Z makes an S sound in Spanish. So on this one, I would like you to write next to it, put H-I-C-O and put like a little X over it. So this is going to be hizo, not hico. Okay, go ahead and delete this. Okay, and that is it for our notes. So just remember you have 6 stem changers. They change to D, is, tuv, estuv, anduv, and sup. They have their own special set of endings that are a combination of the ARs and the ER-IR endings. And then you have the lowriders that do their own thing on the bottom row. They're both on the bottom, so that's why we call them lowriders. We have our pirate verb, it loses an I, arg, and then we have hizo, not hico. And so that's it, and that is all you need to know for the preterite. There'll be no more new notes for the preterite, but we're going to be practicing a ton. There's a reason why we're doing the preterite for the whole month of January is because we need a lot of practice with it. We're going to do a lot of repetition. Those of you that are quarantined, hopefully you'll be back for some of that practice. We're going to be practicing. We're going to be making a big flip chart for the whole preterite. And then at the end of the month, end of January, we're going to be taking a big preterite unit test on all this. But by then, you will know it really well. Okay, so please message me if you have any questions and rewatch the video if you need to. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.